I'm Eric Tucker with 104.7 KDUK, and I have Oliver Tree here with me via Zoom.
How's it
Hi.
going today?
Oh, it's going great. And I'm really excited to talk to you, especially because you're from Santa Cruz. Now, I lived in San Jose for a bit. The best part about San Jose is being able to get to Santa Cruz.
Well, it's a funny thing. I grew up in Santa Cruz, but I actually was born in Cottage Grove. Are you familiar?
Oh, yes, of course. So you have some Oregon ties
Yeah,
then.
so I actually grew up there and spent a lot of time in Eugene. I mean, it's right. It's a skip down the road from Eugene. And my grandmother and grandfather lived in Eugene. So I've spent a lot of time out in those parts.
Nice. Well, let us know if you're ever up here. We would love to have you by the station sometime too. Yeah. So it sounds like you've lived a lot of interesting places that really are a good place for artists to be, especially like Santa Cruz and Oregon. So how do you think that shaped you into the artist that you are?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Right now, I'm actually in Nova Scotia and it's about negative 30 degrees Celsius. So I'm just trying to survive.
Ah,
It's pretty, and I know Nova Scotia is like a tourist hotspot, but really at this time of the year, nothing out here. I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But I'd say, a place like Santa Cruz, even, Eugene, these are places where people are a little outside the box, a little more weird. It's embraced in the culture there. And for me, that's been a big part of me being the character that I am and the person that I am. I think there was an aspect where that was not only accepted, but encouraged in places like that. And so for me, it's been probably positive for me to be the person I am coming from places like that.
awesome. Now, back in December, you released a deluxe version of your album, Cowboy Tears. And I just want to know what inspired you to have a country flair to this album.
Yeah, so basically the first version of the album was Cowboy Tears, which came out almost exactly a year ago from today. And then during Christmas, I released Cowboy Tears Drown the World in a Swimming Pool of Sorrow. And that was more of a pop punk version. It was like an emo pop punk album that I produced the bulk of it with Travis Barker from Blink 182.
Ooh, I didn't even
So
know that. That's
yeah,
cool.
so I mean, the first version of it was much more country as a folk album, and I was living at my grandparents' spot in Eugene, and they have a ranch out there, and it's on the outskirts, but basically, I spent some time I had retired from music in the music industry, and I was just taking care of some of their animals out there, and I was just playing my grandfather's acoustic guitar and just made some music for me, and I ended up really feeling like, hey, some of this music should be shared with the world. And I made an album that ended up coming out, and it was my biggest commercial failure, but I still stand by that work. I love it, and very proud, even though my fans rejected my country music.
Well, it's always good to expand and try different things too. Now we're playing your song "Miss You" on KDUK right now, which you worked with Robin Schultz on, and it now has 310 million
Well,
streams.
that's on Spotify. Actually, my lawyer Jeremiah Jeffrey has looked into this and has the overall stream. Apparently, it's closer to 8 billion views if you look at all
Ooh,
the different platforms, if you include TikTok. So he's saying this is actually the second most streamed song in the world, secondary to the Eagles. They have this song, and we're actually slated to beat out the Eagles numbers in the next 6 to 8 years.
that must feel good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. The thing is, I haven't seen a penny yet. Atlantic Records, I want my money. I'm not going to get into too much more than that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a cool song, and I know it's like sped up, and I've heard you talk before about like how it's a reflection on our society right now. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think realistically, this song is a remix of a remix of a remix. The first version I made with Marshmello in, I believe, 6 years ago. And so, it's been embraced and respun in so many different ways. There's multiple versions of it that are going. There's Miss You. There's another one called, I can't even remember the name, but there's a couple versions of the song that's going. I think, yeah. I can't even remember. Yeah, it's Worth Nothing. There's another version of the same song that uses different versions, different verses and bridges from the original song that's sped up as well, but there's slowed down versions of that have made the rounds. There's sped up versions of the sped up version. And basically this is just kind of, based upon TikTok and the algorithm and what people are embracing. And it's really a reflection of the time we're moving at such a fast speed, that it's like the music reflects that. And a lot of people haven't made official releases of these remixes of remixes of remixes. And for me, I've just embraced it, and it's changed my life.
Yeah. Now tell me about what it's like to tour, because I know last year you went out on the road for the Cowboy Tears tour. So what was it like?
Well, we did just under 100 shows last year. It's on the brink of breaking down every single time. It was not easy. I had to get surgery on my voice. In December, I couldn't talk for an entire month. I still haven't sang for 2 months because now we're encroaching mid-February. So it took a toll on my physical health. Pretty hardcore. It's hard to eat healthy. Definitely got fat, but it's not bad for the winter here in Nova Scotia. And yeah, it was honestly incredible. I actually have just announced the first show I will be returning. It's Red Rocks. We sold out half the tickets on the on sale. This thing is going to sell out soon, but it's going to be a crazy show. I've been working on this new show for a year and a half, and I'm in the midst of fully producing it right now, and we're 5 months out, and I'm doing it all myself, writing and directing and producing this show to be my dream show. It's going to be like nothing anyone's ever seen, a mixture of a movie, a TV show, a play, a musical, concert, comedy show, storytelling, WWE wrestling, 360 entertainment.
Wow, that sounds like quite the show. And what is it about Red Rocks? I always hear people saying like that is the best possible venue to play. So why is that?
I think it's probably the most interesting amphitheater in America. The most unique one. You're playing inside essentially like a mini Grand Canyon, and it's just super iconic, probably more memorable than any other venue in America. So, and it's just the way it's built. It's very beautiful space. I played there as a special guest before. I'd never got to headline it, so it's going to be a special one. It's kind of like a marker in your career, you know. And Colorado in general, they devour music for whatever reason. Like most people there, that it's one of the biggest places for music for most artists. So it's pretty random, but pretty epic.
Yeah, and it'll be really nice to be performing there in the summertime too. So definitely something to look forward to. Now, I have to ask you about this tattoo that I saw. Is that fart tattoo on your forehead real?
It's real, and I really don't like to talk about it. It's a painful subject, but I lost a bet to this lower level YouTuber named KSI. We just released a song that I directed a video for in London. And yeah, unfortunately we had a bet, and I lost the bet, and he chose that I had to get the word fart tattooed on myself. So I put it on my forehead so that my bangs would cover it. And I'm in the process of getting the tattoo removed, but it takes year and a half to 2 years for that process. It's extremely painful. I have to go every 2 weeks, fly from Nova Scotia to Beverly Hills to get the tattoo slowly removed. And it's actually done some damage on my frontal corb, my frontal cortex, which is where the hippocampus is located. My short-term memory is shot, and the doctor said the symptoms are very similar to that of amnesia. So it's been unfortunate. I've done some actual brain damage essentially, and from not only the tattoo but the removal process, which is quite unfortunate. But you know, this is the reality of being on the internet in 2024.
Yeah, wow. Well, it's not noticeable, so that's the good thing. And even if you did rock that tattoo, all would be well. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I heard that you want to retire from music. Is this true?
This is factual. I have retired multiple times, but this is Miss You is the last song. I only came out of retirement because the song was an old song recycled, a remix of a remix of a remix. And so I was like, well, this thing's going. I don't have to release another song. I mean, it was already essentially out in the ether. It was just a matter of the official release of it. So, I mean, I'm doing one last round. This is my last press run I'll ever do. And in, you know, the last couple of years, I've been really focused in writing feature film screenplays. And I'm really hoping to just start producing some of those and getting them into the process of being made. But yeah, that's where my heart is. Music's just been a day job and ultimately a ripoff. So I'm looking at other options of career paths.
Well, it's interesting that you're interested in movies, because I watched your music video for Miss You, and it was like one of the trippiest things I've seen in a while, especially with the clown and stuff. So
thank you. Yeah, I write and direct all my own music videos. It's kind of been my film school and my way to be able to practice and get big budgets to make these short films. You know, I really call them short films. They're less about performance based, they're less about singing and more about making a story and getting a big budget around this kind of short film. So it's been great practice for me as a writer director, and I've been producing them as well. Built my own production company so that I can assure the quality and make it the caliber that I want it to be. And it never is. It always looks like dog shit. I don't know if I can swear, but you could bleep it. But it looks bad always. You should see how it looked in my head. It was insane, and it has to come to reality. And it starts getting closer and closer to your vision, but it's never a fraction of how you see it in your head. But that's just making art in general.
Yeah. Well, it's been really fun chatting with you. Now, I have a question for your Red Rock show. Is there still a possibility to get tickets for that? Like if somebody that's watching wants to go?
There is a limited amount of tickets left. Get one while you still can, because this thing is about to sell out, but it's going to be truly magical performance. This show, I swear to God, this is something I've been working on for a year and a half. But the thing is, like, some of these ideas I've had since I was a kid, and now I'm slowly being able to realize it and get the proper funding to make a show that is, 5 or 10 years advanced to the show I was playing before. And I was proud of the old show, but this show is on a whole other level. No one has ever done anything like this in the concert space or in any space, really, because it's so 360. But I'm very excited about this. And this show is something that I think will be a blueprint of the future of shows.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is definitely something to look forward to. Oliver Tree, thank you so much for talking. And please stop by the station when you're in Eugene next time.
I look forward to meeting you in person.
All right. Good talking.
Have a good one.
All the best.